Ba-boom. I think we are live.
We're live.
We are not Memorex. We are live. All right. I believe we're live. So if we're live, yay. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. Welcome to episode 31. Today we are talking about SIVs. Today we have a huge panel, and we also have... I hear an echo. Who's echoing? Is that me echoing? I think that's me echoing. Let me put that on mute. Sean, you should know better. You're the hostess with the mostest. Today we have a huge panel. Welcome everyone. As always, we have Linda Anderson, our cheerleader. Woot woot woot. Never trust a skinny chef. Shane, what's up, man?
Oh, thank you for turning off my. You turned off my mic, and I put my mic back on. Go ahead. Sorry.
Kevin can fly. Way down there's Tommy, and way over there is JP. But the guy that we want to talk about today, or one of the guys we want to talk about, is this guy. Where we this way? Kris Wheeler. He is here on our panel tonight. A really awesome paramotor pilot. It's been flying for almost a year, and this whole thing that we're talking about today is SIVs. However, he has not gone to an SIV. He has signed up for 3 different SIVs and been denied because of the COVID. So he said, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to SIV myself. That sounded interesting. Welcome, Kris, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome, my friend. So tell us a little bit about yourself, and how did you get so advanced when you only started, flying since December of last year?
So it probably, since December. So it probably starts when I was a child. When I was a child, at about 8 or 9 years old, if you were a male, and I'm from a family of 10 kids, you're given a wild horse. And it's your job to break that horse. And before you can sit at the dinner table with the adults, that horse has to be broken. So it takes you about 3-4 years. It's that kind of upbringing that I'm from. So it's like, do it yourself, figure it out yourself. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's just you that you have to live with. So you either do it or you don't. And the horse is going to be there tomorrow, whether you got on it or not. So that was kind of my upbringing. So I don't know, it kind of just translates into my entire life, including flying a wing. So, yeah.
Is he being literal right now, or is that like some sort of euphemism?
No,
a literal horse?
Very literal. So the Bureau of Land Management rounds up wild Mustangs every year, and then you buy them. Yeah, you buy them through the BLM for $125, and basically
Black Lives Matter group.
yeah, sort of, but in a horse way. And so it's an adopt a horse program, and basically after a year's time, that horse then belongs to you as long as you fed it and haven't abused it, and you're actually actively working it. And the Bureau of Land Management does it with wild Mustangs, and they do it with wild burros. So as a kid, I come from probably 4 or 5 generations of equestrians. Primarily in English, but my parents decided that Western was the way to go because I grew up in Tucson. And so we were, as a kid, you're given a horse, and nobody helps you. They tell you what you do, but you can ask for instruction, but they will not help you. So just being around a wild animal when you're that young, you're like 1st, 2nd grade, is a crazy experience. So I can say that I've honestly learned more from a horse than any human.
Kris, real quick, in 1987, I actually adopted a wild burro.
Cool.
From BLM.
Cool.
And she was in full when we got her, and it was so much fun. It was such a great experience.
I'm glad to hear it.
Raising both of them, so I just had to share that. I can totally relate to that. Yeah, it was so much fun.
I think everybody should experience that. I really do. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
I think Linda's cowboy hat was a dead giveaway.
Yeah, definitely. Now we said that you're kind of like this guy that's wild and the wild child and is out there trying to do some maneuvers that are kind of beyond him. But you did go to paramotor school, right? I mean, you didn't self-train.
No, I actually went to paramotor school. I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I called up probably 10 schools, and it's tough to get in when you want to get in. I had like a 2-week window that I needed to train in, and there was one school that called me back that just said, come on down, we'll work with you. And I told them, look, I'm a fast learner. I've got to go fast. You've got to teach me in a matter of days what you would teach somebody in weeks. And there's a guy named Carson down at Happy Thoughts PPG, who's a phenomenal teacher and a phenomenal equestrian. He's a student of Kris Santa Croce, and he's the one that I went to his school, and him and Robert taught me. And I think it was a matter of maybe 4 days I had taken my first flight, and I was kiting pretty well at that point.
So how many days did you actually go and train?
4. So I was there for 4 days. I took 3 flights, came back, ordered my equipment, came back, and had a few more flights and a little bit more training with them at that point. And that was right during the Happy Thoughts fly-in. I think it was, I can't remember when that was. I think it was December or January or something.
Was that Swanee?
I think so. I'm not sure what they called it, but it might have been called Swanee. Yeah.
Yeah, the Happy Thoughts is the one that put that on. Swanee, right? It's,
yeah, so that's the one. Yeah.
October, yeah, because I just finished school, left school and drove right up there after dropping off my camper and my paramotor so that I wouldn't be suckered into flying in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So how advanced do you feel that you are right now? Because every time that you go up, you decide that you're going to experiment a little bit, try a little something more, but you also have a bunch of friends that fly that do acro, correct?
Yeah, I have a bunch of friends that are sponsored pilots, right? So they're really high level guys, and I'm able to bounce off them ideas, and they're able to kind of instruct me when they fly with me. So it's very handy to have those guys in kind of my back pocket. Every time I go up, and this was kind of something that I learned as a child, if you do something, do it with purpose. So every time I go up, I'm not just going up to enjoy myself. I'm going up to enjoy myself and to learn something as well. And it could be something very little. Like what's it like to take 2 wraps on a brake instead of 1? Or, I mean, it could be something very tiny, or it could be something like, what's it like to turn the opposite direction if you're doing a tip tuck on one end, right? That kind of stuff.
And you actually do these tip tucks. You actually do these deflations and big ears and all this stuff before you have even tried an SIV.
Yeah. So I'm a huge fan of a guy named, I think it's Jockey Sanderson or something. Jockey something. I think it's Sanderson or Saunderson or something. This guy. Yeah. So this guy is like, man, he's the coolest cat. He's got this English accent, and he sounds like he's reading you a bedtime story. Meanwhile, he's in a full collapse, falling to the ground at like terminal velocity, and he's just saying, slowly let your wing reinflate, all is good. So if you don't plug into this guy at least a couple hours a week, you're missing out. But his name is Jockey, and I think it's Sanderson or something like that. Anyway, he is a paragliding instructor, and a really good one. He has a ton of YouTube videos. And that whole thing of a tip tuck and doing a reverse spiral there is one of his maneuvers that he teaches about losing altitude very quickly in a very safe way. So it's that kind of stuff. So it's not like I come up with these things by myself. I actually watch instructors do it, get some nerve up, get enough height, and then try it out myself.
When you were doing that little wing over spiral thing, how high were you? Because it looked like your altitude was kind of on the low side.
It was on the very low side. I wasn't even 1,000 feet when I was doing that. Yeah. Yeah,
But you're alive and you
I am.
learned, right?
I am. And the weirdest thing, my wife never watches me fly. I mean, ever. And it just so happens that she had come out to the field to watch me fly that day. So it was like, it was that day. She's like, you have to buy a reserve. I don't care. You're buying a reserve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, so it sounds like you're a little bit more daring than me, because before I went to the SIV course, I don't even think that I even touched tip steering or even pulled out the trimmers. And I definitely didn't even try doing anything that remotely resembles an SIV maneuver. But anyway, Kris, thank you so much for that story. We're going to run over here to Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane, because Shane and I last week, has it been a week already?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So last week, Saturday, we met up over in Florida. We did an SIV course, and we only did it for one day. We're going to do it for more than that, but man, we were wore out. Shane, what did you expect in the class, and what did you find out about the class?
Oh, that's a whole lot of. Well, we only got an hour, right?
We can go as long as you want. It's no big deal.
Honestly, I just want to learn what my wing can do, so that when I do have, say, a wing surge, I know what to expect. I know what to worry about, what not to worry about, and everything that I've experienced in the past, I worried about nothing. When my wing was doing things that it wasn't supposed to, that I thought it wasn't supposed to, that it was going to end my flight. Yeah, I was worried about nothing. It really was just, but when you go out there, I said this is my very first time up there. I'd never been towed before. I've never free flighted. I've never been to an SIV. Once you pin off, they literally he was just like, okay, reach up and grab your A's. I was like, hold on. We're not going to work this in. We're not going to ease into this. We're just going to go ahead and collapse half a wing while I'm 4,000 feet in the air, which I've never been that high before, ever. So, yeah, what I wanted to learn was what my wing can do. What I learned and expected was it's a lot harder than. There, I'm back. Am I back? Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
What I learned was that the confidence level, and technically I have not flown since SIV course. The winds have just been shot here, and my wrist has been a little wonky, so I haven't really bothered to do it yet. But I'm heading to Ohio this weekend, so I can guarantee you that I'm hoping to put at least another 20 to 25 hours on my motor this week coming up.
When you go over and you do this, are you going to do any of these maneuvers that you learned in the SIV course?
I plan to do the horseshoe as often as I can. One, it looks totally awesome, and two, it's benign maneuver that you do with the wing.
It wasn't too benign with me, but I'm glad it was fun for you. I think that with Shane and I, we looked at the video. A horseshoe is when you take the center A's and put them together.
You take the inside A's.
The centermost, yes, yeah, centermost A's.
Your left and your right, most inner A's, and you put them in one hand. And then you reach up with your other hand and you pull down. As you're pulling down, it brings the front of the wing in, and it makes it look like a horseshoe. Sean's video shows Sean grabbing the two A's and then jerking the A down, which destroyed that wing shape.
It was the most okay. In all the different maneuvers that you can do, beeline stalls, full frontal with all the A's, grabbing your brakes and shoving them down as far as you can to stall. When you fall, you can't even feel it. When I took those A's like this and yanked it, not only did I fall like free falling, like something I've never felt before, but I think I also got into a little riser twist. It was the most scariest thing I've ever done, and Shane wants to go do it on a motor. Obviously, I did something wrong, and I'm not going to try that anytime soon.
I don't know if you did it wrong. I just think that from my point of view, what I did, and I've seen what you did, and I'm like, man, you pulled that really, really hard and really fast, because that's what we were told to do. Even if it's just a 50% deflation, you grab those A's and you jerk them. If you try to just go easy, you're going to be hanging off of that A line more or less. And I think that's what you did in your video. It shows you put the two A's together, and that other hand just reached up and powered those A's down. And I think that's what just folded that wing up completely.
I guess I am a jerk, and I need to be careful about that. So, anything else? You did the big ears. What else? What other maneuvers did you do? You did the A-line stalls.
I did the 50% deflation. I did the 50% with leaning into and away from, and steering your glider as you're in a 50% deflation. I did full frontal. Also did speed bar, which I've never even used speed bar. I've seen people have them. I've never seen them while during flight even use them. He's like, I get up there. He's like, all right, reach down and grab your speed bar. I'm like, I think it's between the legs. I have no idea.
and also too on speed bar, were your trims in or out on speed bar?
Oh, they were all the way in. And
you were supposed to do a collapse or what?
I did what you talk about with the reserve toss thing?
No, when you were doing the maneuver, then he had you use the speed bar. What did you do? Were you doing the frontal collapse?
I did the 50% deflation on both sides with the speed bar, and then I did a full frontal, and that's where I got in a whole lot of trouble.
And that's what they say. They say that you get into a world of hurt if you are on speed bar and you take a frontal. Describe it real quick. What did it feel like when that happened to you?
With the full frontal on speed bar, everything, at the very first couple times I did any kind of deflations, I've never even had a wingtip kind of even get soft on me. It's always been a good wing, and I've never had any issues. So when I did the deflation on speed bar, that wing, I felt the drop, which I didn't feel really before without the speed bar. But I got into this instant full on just spiral down. The G's, I can actually see the video. My face was kind of pulling down because I got the G's were incredible, and it happened so quick. I was just in shock. And I look up at my wing, and I see half of this wing tip on the left side is completely folded under, and there's a line over it. I'm like, oh crap. So I start pumping the brakes, and then the SIV teacher's yelling, reserve, 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 because I was coming up on the 1,000 foot mark, and he wanted to make sure that I had enough time to get the reserve out and get safe. And I did it 3 times. I pulled the brake 3 times, and it came out, and I really felt good about it. He kind of seemed a little concerned that I didn't throw it, because if he says throw it, you're supposed to throw it. And I don't want to say I didn't listen to him. I just had a decision to do 3 times, and then I did the 3rd time, and it came out. So the 4th time, there wouldn't have been a 4th time. It would have been me throwing the reserve. It's a lot of crap happens, dude, when you're free falling.
that is true. That is true. Now, Kris, you had a deflation. Did you deflate your wing, or what happened when your wing deflated?
So I've had a few, actually. And I still have them once in a while when I don't pull outside brake on a wing over, right? So you do little wing overs and you get some speed and you think, yeah, this is great. And I want to go faster. I want to go faster. And it's in that when I want to go faster, if you don't pull outside brake, then that outside wing will collapse. It actually, I don't know if it's like more prone because I'm doing it primarily on a B wing. I've done it on some C wings and I haven't had that outside tip collapse, but it's actually about the outside third or so that actually falls in on you if you don't hold outside brake as you're doing wing overs. So,
and this is
you don't really notice it. You don't really notice it until it actually inflates again, and then you feel that bump, and you're like, "Oh crap, that deflated on me.
And this is coming from a guy that's never taken an SIV course. That's crazy. Now, another person that has not taken an SIV course is Tommy. And Tommy, he's a free flight guy, mostly before he started to motor. So because he had a lot of experience with, free flight and collapses and stuff, on one of our trips that we took, we were really in some bumpy, turbulent air. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he came down. Well, go ahead and tell the story, Tommy.
I just gotten some rotor behind the lee side of the mountain, and the wind was a lot stronger than predicted it was going to be, and I couldn't penetrate up high, so I dropped down low and was riding in the rotor. Took a what felt like a 90% collapse was probably a 40% collapse, but it popped back open right at treetop level, and I killed my motor and landed. Said I've had enough.
Was that the first time or second time or third time I had to come get you?
I think you've had to get me almost every time. I always seem to land off these damn cross countries. I'm going to get one down one day.
That's so funny. Well, we're definitely glad that you made it, and because of your experience, you're able to not crash, which is really good. We definitely don't like crashes. Who else do we have out there? We have Kevin Can Fly. He's an instructor. He's also have taken a couple of SIV courses. He teaches a lot of students. And what kind of experience have you had with your SIV course? And how do you feel that? Do you feel like you're more competent because you took an SIV course as an instructor, or as a person, as a pilot?
Yes to all of that. The key elements I think that you take away from SIV is getting over the question mark. So when you hear people talk about doing big ears or beeline stalls or just regular deep stall or whatever, you can watch a video or watch someone else do it, and you don't have any understanding of what it actually feels like. There's a big question mark. What's it gonna feel like when the tips of my wings are folded back and flapping? What's it gonna feel like when half of my wing is folded back and flapping? If you don't experience it, then you don't know what to expect. Once you've gone and taken an SIV course and you've intentionally done these maneuvers with instruction over water, then it removes that question mark. And it doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, make you a better pilot, because a better pilot means making better choices. What it does is it gives you the reactionary skills to be able to recover yourself once you've gotten away with a poor decision. And Chris Santacroce, being one of the greatest instructors, will explain to you in some of his videos that collapses are avoidable by maintaining pressure. So when we talk about active flying your wing, what you're doing is you're actively maintaining pressure in the wing. So SIV courses will teach you how to maintain that active pressure. So like Chris was talking about with the wingovers and holding outside pressure, the thing about wingovers that a lot of people don't understand is when you do small wingovers, you're in a safe zone. It's kind of like a little bit of a green zone. And when you get into middle ground wingovers, where you're not quite going all the way over the wing, but you're getting up high enough to build good energy, you get into this little red zone period where it's actually the most dangerous, because you build enough energy to unload the wing, but not enough energy to maintain the full swing. And that's where you start getting the deflation. Once you get big enough in wingovers where you're going all the way up and over the wing, you have enough energy that it carries you through the whole maneuver. So you're not unloading the wing. So there's a really fine point between medium and big where you start to find those deflation periods. And the key element behind those deflations is they can teach you a lot about your wing over. So if you're having deflations, you can actually deflate the inside of the wing or the outside of the wing, depending on the timing that you're using. So when you're doing wingovers, you have to initiate with weight shift really hard and then pull brake right at the precipice of the swing. If you weight shift too soon, you can lose the outside wingtip. If you weight shift too late, you can actually lose the inside wingtip, or if you don't weight shift at all. So wingovers are actually a really dynamic maneuver that takes a lot of finesse and skill to do really well. Even though a lot of people see it as just a fun maneuver, it's actually a very dangerous maneuver. And then the retreat is always to an asymmetric spiral, which Kris found out if you get a big enough wing over, finding that asymmetric spiral is not very hard at all. So that's kind of my takeaway with SIV and then moving into the maneuvers. And then when it comes to deflations, like Shane's talking about how he wants to go up to the flying and he wants to do A-line stalls on his wing. I personally think that's a very bad idea. I think going and doing that with an SIV instructor and learning what it feels like to do it is fine, but I don't see any reason to purposefully deflate your wing unless you're in a situation where you have to. So doing big ears is a complete benign maneuver. That's not what we consider a deflation. That's what we consider a descent technique. But to pull 50 percenters on purpose or to pull frontals on purpose, it's ill-advised at best to do it without actually being at a course or being with an instructor, because those can lead to riser twists. They can lead to deep stall. They can lead to a lot of other maneuvers that if you didn't go through those in SIV, you might be learning them fast and the hard way. So I don't, even as an instructor, I don't pull deflations unless I find myself in a place where I have to. And that again goes back to good decision making. You want to make good decisions to not find yourself in those predicaments.
So what's the difference between going to an SIV course and being in a free flight harness and then trying the same maneuvers when you are in your paramotor?
You lose your weight shift ability. So when you're in a free flight harness, you have about 60% more authority on the wing with your weight shift. When you move to a paramotor, you only have about 40% of that weight shift authority. So your timing actually has to be a lot more precise because your balance point, if you think of a V and you're balancing that V with a free flight harness, you're able to articulate the V. With a paramotor, all you really have is just a small amount of articulation. So your balance point becomes narrower. So if you find yourself in deep stall, and this is a great point because if you follow Kyle O's videos, Kyle O took a universal 1.1 and went up and did stalls on it. And he found himself in a riser twist in deep stall because his weight shift was off in the stall. So it's not advised to be doing, that's why SIVs generally are done in a free flight harness and not in a motor, is because you don't have the authority to weight shift and control your wing nearly as much. So that's why we want to fly in the more benign conditions like the morning and the evening, where you're not going to be finding yourself having to fight those dynamic issues.
Ooh,
That's yeah. I learned a
it,
lot
it,
here just now.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, I know that when I fly, if the only things that I like to do are the big ears, I enjoy a nice spiral, nothing deep, and definitely not a flat down, and very baby wingovers, kind of on the very green zone of doing wingover. It's not even wingover; it's more of an S turn. Um, and I love foot dragging. Those are the only things and I love foot dragging the most. So most of the time, I'm down close to the ground anyway. Um, in your opinion, Kevin, what is more dangerous, doing big ears, spirals, or foot drag?
Spirals, absolute spirals. Spirals can get very, very big, very fast. You can get a lot of rotation quickly. And the G forces, like Shane mentioned a minute ago, the G forces that will build up in a nose down spiral can black you out in a matter of about 4 seconds if you're not G tolerant. And that's another key factor to when you start considering these maneuvers, is being able to tolerate the G-forces is like an alcoholic being able to tolerate the alcohol. If tonight's your first night going out drinking, you're not going to do as well as your friend that goes to the bar daily. After you go to the bar with him for a couple of months, you might be able to keep up. That's the same premise as getting G loaded. So when you start out with G's, 1 or 2 G's actually feels like a lot, even though it's really not. We can get upwards of 8 G's in a paramotor. So 2 G's is, only a fraction of what you can get to. When you get to a nose down spiral, you can find those full 8 G's, and 8 G's is enough to black you out. And then you lock into the spiral and you just stay there all the way till you hit the dirt. So doing spirals is one of the more dangerous activities, which is why we encourage asymmetric spirals and not full spirals. So you go in, and as soon as the wing starts to load, you let her fly back out. And when the wing starts to come out, you bring it right back in. So you're hard into it and then ease up, and then hard into it and then ease up. And that's what's known as an asymmetric spiral, because you're only doing it halfway. So you start in and then come back out. So you can do asymmetric spirals to the left and then asymmetric spirals to the right. And by doing that, you can teach yourself how to exit. And the exit is the biggest key component to doing spirals. If you can't learn to exit the spiral, that's what we call a locked in spiral. And that's dangerous. So by learning to do your exit on command, so you pick your heading and you exit your spiral on heading. And then as soon as you exit on heading, you go right back into another one in the same direction. And you command the wing to do what you want, because you're the pilot. You're not a passenger. So you can practice asymmetric spirals to get tolerable for G's. And then when you start into the wing overs, it's 90-degree heading, 90-degree heading. And then you start by like a little kid playing on a swing back and forth. And when you get to the point where you feel like it's, oh shit, stop. Retreat to an asymmetric spiral. And if you maintain that steady progression of practice, before too long, you'll be very comfortable with spirals, and you will find yourself becoming comfortable with wing overs. But it always starts small and progresses as you get better experience.
My takeaway from that is go to the bar more often with my friend. All right. Shane, let's run back to you real quick. Then we're going to go to Brian and talk about his hay bale. But Shane,
Yes.
When we went to the SIV course, I told you it was going to be exhausting. You didn't understand what I meant. Please explain to people that's never been to an SIV course how exhausting is being towed up and doing these maneuvers.
Well, I was at kind of a disadvantage, if you will. You and I shared a harness, and when the harness was fitted for you, I was laid back too far. So the entire time I was doing like crunches. Actually, on one of my landings, or actually 2 of my landings, you see me kind of like my feet in the air and trying to get like forward because I was so far back. But yeah, the heat. So you got Florida heat, which is humid as all get out, which I'm used to, except for when you add a helmet and a life jacket. That life jacket is like putting on a wool coat in 110-degree weather. And oh my God, I was dying. I could not believe how quickly I got dehydrated. The physical part of it, you bring the wing up, that's easy. Kiting it for, I don't know why. I could be completely confused on this, but why did it take, I've got one video, it was almost 2 minutes of me kiting for that boat to take off. I was like, when is this boat going? Because I'm over here kiting in this heat with a jacket on, or a life jacket. And I was just like, man, I didn't realize how long you'd be kiting for. And it's kiting is physical. You're moving, you're shaking, you're keeping the wing above you. I didn't realize. You said it was going to be hard. I was just like, whatever, dude. I've been to school. It's not that bad. Yeah, I learned by the second tow that I was dying already. I was like, I'm done already. Oh my God.
What would you suggest for people that are going to be going to an SIV course, how to get ready mentally and physically for such an event?
All right. Well, if your wife is like mine in the medical field, have her go ahead and start an IV because you're going to need all those fluids. And the night before, which I didn't do because I was fully unaware of how hard and hot this was going to be. I would literally drink a gazillion gallons of water the night before. And the next morning, get up and just start drinking again. Drinking water. Just drink. Not that I do water. Drink fluids. I should say fluids. And I mean, I think I started out behind and never got caught up. I have no idea how quickly I became dehydrated. I mean, my shoulder blade, I got a knot in my shoulder blade on the way up and never let go until I landed and could let go of the brakes.
You also had some cramps in your back, in your feet, in your eyeballs. What kind of cramps did you get?
I started out with one underneath my left rib in the front. I kept digging my hand in there underneath my rib, trying to reach it, and then my shoulder blade on my right side, it locked up on the way up. I was braking and holding my hands like this, and that shoulder blade just locked up, and I was just like, oh my God, you get a Charlie horse in your leg, you can straighten it out. But if you're trying to stay behind the boat, you got to keep continuing to stay behind the boat. So I just left it like that until I got back. And man, within like 3 days, I still had tenderness in that area from where it knotted up.
Did you have any bruises or anything? Because I know that I had all sorts of bruises. They're all gone now, thank goodness. But I had all sorts of forward launch bruises and God knows what else.
I don't think mine was the bruise. I had one that was right here in the crease of my arm, and I honestly don't think it was from forward. I think it was when I had the speed bar full frontal. It got violent. I got tossed around a bit, and I realized that I was holding brake, but I was pulling in on the risers to feel comfortable. You know, like trying to lock myself in without actually holding on to the risers. And I had bruises on both sides of my arms that were identical. So I think it's from pulling in and just trying to maintain in my seat. Because again, I've never been in a free flight harness, and I've always been in a paramotor harness, and I moved around a lot, and I wasn't used to that. And I think the funniest thing I took away from this is I learned that when things go awry with my wing, the first thing I do is stick my leg straight out. I must have heard the teacher go, keep your legs tucked in. Okay, now pull your wing. All right, now your feet are out again. As soon as that wing did anything it wasn't supposed to, feet were straight out. I don't know why. I was trying to balance myself, I guess. I don't know. It's embarrassing.
It's definitely a lot more difficult than I ever thought. And this was my second one, and this was even more straining. I think because the heat was so bad, and because we had to kite because the winds were a lot stronger than we're used to. Let's go over to Hay Bale real quick. Old Brian, he's the famous guy that you've seen on Tucker Gott's Don't Do This video. What did you do, Hay Bale?
Sean, did you say that that Brian flies by Braille?
That must. Oh, you're being funny. Okay.
Just like a minute.
Okay, hey Bill, what happened on your flight that everybody may or may not know about?
Oh, well, y'all have already seen it quite a few times now, but yeah, I was flying low, having a good time, and I decided to split the gap between a couple bales of hay and cut it a little too close and got target fixation, I believe, and just drifted into that bale on the left. And of course, the rest is history. So
it really is history. Now, how long ago was that, and how are your injuries right now?
That was about 2.5 months ago, June 18th. And so September 17th, I get a screw removed from my foot. And after that, I'm cleared to run and that kind of thing. Right now, I'm back to normal. I'm not wearing a cast. I'm walking without crutches. I'm living a normal life for the most part. I just can't run or carry heavy loads. The fear is that I might break that screw and it'll be a lot harder to remove. So yeah, just got to take it easy, try to have a little bit of patience. And I'm going to be back up there soon. My goal is to fly by the end of September. But yeah, we'll see, man.
All right.
I'm ready.
We just wanted to make sure that everything was good. I'm sure that a lot of people been trying to keep up with you and your healing process and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and see your cast real quick.
Oh, you want to see my cast?
No cast. All right. Woot woot. You actually have real feet. Your foot.
Yeah, like I said, pretty much back to normal. So yeah, life is good, man. No complaints here.
Good deal. I'm very, very happy. Let's see. Who have we not talked to? We haven't talked with JP, but he's in the back working on something, it looks like.
Sean, hold on real quick. I want to give Kevin props because that was hilarious. His joke about the bail. How does he read by bail? I had to step out and I was laughing in my backyard, just dying. And well, I want to give props to him because that was hilarious. That was spot on. Just so you know.
Shane, don't encourage him.
Oh, it was awesome. Hey, if a good joke is a good joke, I'm gonna tell you it's a good one. If it's bad, I'm just gonna laugh at you a little sideways. That's all.
Well, I laugh at your jokes, so you know.
Yeah, so you have no idea what's good then.
I know.
But Brian was,
yeah.
or I'm sorry, Kevin. That was awesome, dude. Absolutely amazing.
It was hilarious after I caught it, but I'm an old grandpa. Right. What do you expect?
I tried to sneak it in there nice and subtle.
He reads by hay braille. All right.
Kevin are the Giffy. We're like the Giffy twins, you know, like, you know.
I was laughing so hard out there.
Did you say hay bale or did you say he flies by braille?
Exactly. Either which way, it's bumpy.
All right, Kris, how can we find you on the internet?
Yeah.
Just search for My Dog is Choking, all one word.
Whoa, wait, what? You got to explain that .com before you tell us about the .com.
So it'll be YouTube, My Dog is Choking. It'll be Twitter, My Dog is Choking. Instagram, My Dog is Choking. mydogischoking.com on the web. Everything is My Dog is Choking, right? So it's all one word. So My Dog is Choking basically means don't buy everything you're told. Don't buy everything you're sold, right? So gag the dog. In other words, if somebody feeds you a pill, give it to your dog first. If they choke on it, don't buy it. In other words, I don't buy your BS. My dog is choking. That's what it means. So I started out that name of that channel because I study ancient history and ancient religions, right? And the channel was specifically, about rebuttal of ancient history and ancient religions. So once I got into paramotors, everything else went aside, and it became paramotors. So it's now just paramotors. So and it's a much more exciting topic than ancient religion. So there you go.
I don't know. I think ancient religion is more fun to talk about than SIV courses.
I don't know. It's ancient religion is a lot more controversial. So when I say ancient, I mean Mesopotamian. So Sumerian, Akkadian, that kind of stuff. Babylonian primarily.
You're saying words.
Is this the point where I just announce myself? I say, hi, my name's Kevin and I'm an addict too. It's been exactly 4 hours and 9 minutes since I used last.
We're all here because we're all addicts, man. Para addicts.
Paramotor addicts, that's right.
Yeah.
We like to get high, that's for sure.
I was telling Sean earlier, guys like toys. You like your truck, you like your boats, you like your motorcycles, but as soon as you get into PPG, it's the pinnacle. It is the top of all boy toys. I mean, this is it. It doesn't go beyond this. So at least that's what I found out. It's something that I'm never giving up, and there's nothing else that I can imagine that will surpass the feeling that I get when I strap that motor on my back and I run into the sky. It's amazing.
Well, like honestly, am I the only one that gets like a superhero complex when I'm flying like over the beach and there's just like dozens of people that are instantly whipping out their phones to take pictures and film it and stuff, and you're the only guy there for miles and miles that's doing what you're doing, and everyone is looking at you because they're down and you're up. It's just like you
And
feel like you got your cape and your pansy red booties going on for a few minutes.
I have never flown at the beach. Unfortunately, I get all the cowboys or, you know, the cows looking at me. It's all the farmers. So usually I'm flying over, but it's the same feeling. I just get it in a much more lackluster way.
Where do you fly over, Kris?
So I live in East Texas primarily.
Okay.
So I'm primarily flying East Texas.
Okay.
Have you met up and flown with Dave Ruff?
I don't know if I know Dave Ruff.
Trike Flyer. His YouTube channel is Trike Flyer.
No, I don't know him.
He's in the East Texas area as well, and he flies with Kyle O'Glee and a group of those folks. So just you're in the similar area. I didn't know if you guys flew together or not.
I head towards Louisiana once in a while, but I've never been as far as where Kyle's at. So yeah, never met him or Kyle.
You really should go meet Kyle. He is a one-of-a-kind human being. I swear to you, if there was anybody to go hang out with for a day, Kyle is one of those people.
Cool.
Kris, have you flown?
Kris, you didn't fly in that hurricane, did you?
Oh, sorry.
No, in fact, the hurricane really, I'm too far north. It really didn't hit us. We got a little bit of rain. That was it.
The hurricane went right through Conway, Arkansas, where I live, and that never happens. We don't get hurricanes coming up, through Arkansas. It's like unheard of, but here it is. It ruined my week. Couldn't fly. But
Well, good thing you left Florida to avoid it.
So I got another good one there for you, Shane. How is it that a hurricane and a divorce are similar?
I don't know.
Because in the beginning, there's a lot of sucking and blowing, and when she leaves, she takes your house and your shit with her.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Is that PG friendly?
That's PPG. That's really PPG.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I apologize if that was.
Nah, that's all good.
Like,
Wow.
boom. Yeah.
Anyway, Shane, real quick, was there anything else that you want to talk about the SIV course that maybe you want to share with the world?
Yeah, honestly, you as a new pilot or a newer pilot, you get really worked up about having collapses and concerns about that. And in a safe environment, like Kevin was saying, with the boat and the life jacket and the reserve and over water and a teacher, honestly, I watched the video. I'm like, why am I making that face? It's not even that bad. I'm like forcing myself to have a face, to make a weird face on just because I was expecting way worse and nothing ever happened. I was just like, all right, well, that wasn't bad at all. I'm sure getting locked into a spiral and could be horrible, but I didn't have that experience. I just did the frontals and the 50% collapse, and I want to go back because I want to do a full stall. I want to do a couple other things, and I'd like to get into doing enough of I'm doing pretty aggressive wingovers now. I'd like to learn how to safely do a barrel roll, which is not really safe. I'm well aware, but I mean, if I understand if I have somebody to explain to me how it works and how to do it correctly, then it would be safer. But yes, I would like to end up doing barrel rolls for sure.
I think that's over and beyond what I want to do.
Does your wife know about that, Shane?
Know about what?
You want to do barrel rolls?
No one ever said that.
She's all for it. They just got that new life insurance policy filled out last week, so she wants them to go do barrel rolls.
I've had a new. I'm actually getting ready. Actually, no. Got about 4 months left. I got to renew in 4 months. Yeah. I got that life insurance policy just in case, an aviation life insurance policy, which a lot of people don't know about. And that's something we need to discuss on one of these about, you know, you got your regular life insurance. And if you look in those insurance policies, they say they'll cover you as long as it's a fair, what is it, a fair ticket price or
A commercial airline flight.
other words, if you pay for a Delta flight and you crash and die, you're fine. You're going to get paid. Your family's going to get paid. But if you get in a paramotor and fall out of the sky and hit the ground and die, they don't cover that.
Your wife
So
will
you-
drag you to your car and then push you off a cliff.
I'm fine with that. Well, now she doesn't have to do it because I went and got I think 150,000 for the year was like $230, which
See,
isn't really.
You just tell the insurance company that he wasn't flying. He just had a momentary lapse in gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
So you took the SIV. What's the scariest thing that you took from it? The whole thing, man.
Honestly,
Having them see his shorts when he landed.
no, I didn't really have a oh my god moment. I built everything up way more than it really was. You know, when you're climbing to the top of the roller coaster and you're like, oh my god, it's going to be so scary. And you get to the end, you're like, that wasn't bad at all. I did the exact same thing. It really wasn't that. I mean, there was a couple, I think I did my very first frontal. Oh man, I was just like, holy crap. And then when I came out of it, I was just like, okay, that wasn't that bad. But I look back at the video, I'm like, why was I making that face? It wasn't that bad. I knew it wasn't that bad, but I worked myself up into making it worse than it really was, I do believe.
Now, when you say video, are you talking about the GoPro that you're looking at?
No, I had a GoPro on my leg, which
and when you watch that, you're like, why did I make that face?
yeah, because it was pointing more at my face than it was my wing to explain, you know, so I couldn't even really see my wing as all that much. But I'm wondering why
Because
was
the
that
GoPros
really that bad?
capture all that stuff. Ask Kris. Kris did a really great video. You got to watch it about flying midday and bumps. The camera looks like, well, okay, I'm just doing this right here. And he goes, whoa, I'm dramatic and stuff. But you can't tell on the video. It takes out a lot of the bumps.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're watching it, right, Kris, tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching it, it looks like, oh, okay, that looks like a normal car ride or something, little bumps here and there. But that's not what it is. Unfortunately, the GoPro takes out the swinging back and forth, and you don't get an idea of the elevation gain and loss as well, which is what makes a bumpy road a bumpy road.
I guess we need to take that off and turn on the Vario so we can actually see and hear, what we're dealing with.
I know exactly what they're talking about because I showed my family the few clips that I had, and I had to tell them to look in the background or look at the sky to see like the sky twirling above me, or look at the ground and see how the ground is like sideways, because they're like, it doesn't look that bad. I'm like, oh no, I was falling, I swear. Yeah.
Hey, Kris, what is your handle? My dog is choking.
My dog is choking.
Yes.
Okay.
All one word.
Mine is mychickenischoking.com.
Oh Lord. Oh my Lord.
I am not touching that one.
If you do, it's gonna be sticky.
Ooh,
Wow.
I'm subscriber number 299, man. You're almost to 300.
Oh,
Thank you for subscribing.
we need to go over to Kris's channel and definitely subscribe.
Somebody could be 300. You heard it right here.
You could be 300 in just a moment.
What do we win for being 300? Maybe I create another.
I will send you a Gag the Dog hoodie, actually, if you're number 300.
I'm number 300. I'm number 300.
You got it. You got it. All right, Shane.
Yes!
Shane, hit me up. Give me your address, and I'll shoot you over a hoodie.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Man, I should have unsubscribed and subscribed again. Damn it.
Yeah, I never win anything, damn it. I'm just kidding.
Now the bad part is he's got only 12 videos and he's got 300 subscribers. I've got like almost almost 100 videos, and I've only got 70 more subscribers than you.
It's quality, not quantity.
Oh.
That's where I'm going wrong. That's where I went wrong.
Kris is going to be right at home on this panel. I can tell already.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We have about 5 more minutes left of SIV course before we go into the after party. So let me go ahead and explain one thing that I found out on this last SIV. This last SIV was doing a full stall using brakes. Okay. Now, one of the things that a lot of new people are worried about is pulling the brakes too hard, too long, stalling it, and going parachutal. Correct? I mean, most of you probably think that. Is that correct? Is that what you think? Pull the brakes down too long and go parachutal?
Yeah.
All right. That's what I thought too. All right. Number one, I pulled down, and I'm on a B wing too, so this thing should go parachutal pretty quick. I pulled all the way down. I felt it slow down. Nothing. So I had to go back up and took a wrap. Pushed it all the way back down. Slowed down. Okay, went back up. Took 2 wraps. Pushed it all the way down. A little bit more stall. The wing kind of, crumples a little bit. So I had to take 3 full wraps. Pushed it down as hard as I can. My hands and arms are shaking. I'm like, I'm going to do this. That was it. So, number one, I don't understand. I mean, how can someone accidentally pull down on their brake and stall the wing and go parachutal? Maybe this is something that Kevin can give us a little insight on real quick.
Excuse me. Most of the time when that happens, it's low to the ground, not high up.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming in for a landing, and it's a mistimed flare, or like a late morning landing where you'll get some thermic activity that will lift you back up. And what happens is they hold the brakes and they're already in slow. And then what happens is they wind up dropping vertically to the ground about 8 or 10 feet. And then that can cause broken legs or broken vertebrae in the lower back. So it's not generally something that happens up high. What happens up high is kind of a little bit of a different thing though. And that's, a lot of guys will get into what's known as a coconut spin, where they're pulling only one brake and they stall the wing to the point where 1/2 rotates backwards. And so you do a tip stall and you spin around, and a lot of times you do about a 180 or 270 before the wing will recover. But it recovers with enough energy that it then will put you into a riser twist. So it's kind of a dangerous thing to just stall 1/2 of the wing. You'll watch paraglide pilots, they'll do it intentionally when they like top land, because they'll come in with what looks like a big wing over, and then as they swing through the other way, they purposefully tip stall the inside wing, and then they ground heli onto their feet. It looks all fancy and special.
That's what Andrew does.
That's fun acro stuff, and you can learn that stuff really easy at the beach on dunes, because the sand and the dunes are really forgiving for doing stuff like that.
So I got a quick question that maybe we should have asked at the beginning of the session, but what does SIV stand for?
It's Kevin will answer this. It's a French word for situational in, what is it, Kevin?
In
Vol.
vogue.
Vol. VOL.
Yeah.
Situation in vol. Vol is just French for flight. So situations in flight.
Yep.
A lot of people will also use the phrase safety in flight, or a maneuvers course is another way that it's referred to.
Definitely. I would love to do another one. I'm not sure when I'd want to, because I feel like I've accomplished so much in the last 2 SIV courses that I cannot even imagine what more I can do. I think I need a lot more time flying, maybe another 100 hours or 200 hours before the next one. And then maybe I'll do a barrel roll like, Skinny Shane wants to do, or some huge wing overs, maybe an infinity. I don't know, because it's going to be a long time from now. This has concluded our SIV Paramotor podcast, but don't go nowhere. Because
I got one more thing to add to that, to point out for the listeners at home. If you are going to be moving up classes in wing, so if you're currently flying an A wing and you've been 40 or 60 hours out of school and you haven't had an SIV yet, and you move up classes to say a B wing, then you would want to take an SIV on your new wing to understand the characteristics of what your new wing will give you. If you're, say, an accomplished pilot who's been flying a B wing for some time and you're moving up to a C, or even like a free ride, for example, you might want to go take a refresher SIV, because as you move up into that hotter category of wing, the responses are going to be a lot more on the pilot and a lot less on the wing. So refreshing your muscle memory skills in those higher advanced wings is not just about can I do collapses, but about understanding the collective muscle memory for the safety of an advanced level wing.
Exactly. And I'm really glad I took this SIV course, because I'm on my second wing, which, real quick, is a 28 meter. My other wing that I have was a Roadster 3 28 meter. This is a 28 meter Gin Vantage 3. Same wing size, but it has less risers, has A's, B's, and C's, and it's more lifty and more carvy. So if you think that you're going to go out and go, okay, I need a 28 meter wing, the difference between the different makes and models, even though it's the same 28 meter wing, is night and day between these two wings that I've flown. So be really careful if you think I'm just going to go from this 28 meter wing to this 28 meter wing. It can be completely different. You have an instructor, you paid him money, ask him what's going on and what should I do. This has been a great podcast, but don't worry, we're going to continue to stream live on our after party, which means that we get to talk about everything and anything under the sun. But we do want to say thank you very much to Kris Wheeler. He came on today. He is our guest, and you are definitely more than welcome to jump on anytime that you want. We also, don't forget, Kevin Can Fly at kevincanfly.com. He is a great instructor. So if you're in the northwest part of the United States, check him out. Never trust a skinny chef, Shane. He also has a hashtag for cooking against cancer 2020. You want to talk about that real quick, Mr. Shane?
Yeah, it's already been done, but if you type in hashtag cooking against cancer 2020, you will find the videos that everyone has done a dedication to someone who has either fought cancer, fighting cancer, or lost a battle to cancer, such as my son. But anyways, it was a dedication. It's just a dedication and memories of and in honors of. But I do want to point out that Craig Taylor mentioned something in the chat earlier. The website is called ppgzone.com. If you sign up for it, what it'll do is it'll put you in contact with other guys in your area. You can actually put in your city that you live, and it'll literally show you everyone that's in your area, and you can contact them, or you can look at other the United States, check them out.
Never trust a skinny chef, Shane.
Oh, what?
I guess somebody has their browser going, unfortunately.
Anyways, I did sign up for it, and I've noticed a couple people in my area and that I haven't flown with yet. So I'm looking forward to who has either fought cancer, fighting cancer. Somebody, Walter, mute Walter.
I put him on mute. I muted him.
All right. Anyways, the ppgzone.com. You guys should sign up for it, and maybe you can learn or find some new people to fly with you in new areas. Maybe it looks like a pretty good website.
Absolutely. Lynn Anderson, thank you very much for joining us again. Brian
Bye.
Bale Waller, we appreciate you as
Paragliding
always.
talk.com.
Good to be here,
And say
man.
say it one more time, Linda.
Paraglidingtalk.com.
And what are we going to go see if we go there?
Be there or be square.
I want to make sure that Linda mentions clearproptv.com on paramotor talk or paraglidingtalk.com, because I've not heard her say that while the show's going on.
I better start doing that.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Thursday.
Yeah, I am.
He can't get mad at you. You're his mom.
No, that's right.
Just tell him you won't give him $20 on his show anymore.
He knows it.
And
Exactly.
we also thank you very much, Mr. Tommy Mosley, for being on here. JP, I know that you're in the background doing something. We appreciate you. And we appreciate everyone. If you want to watch this, go to clearproptv.com. If you just want to listen to this, you can always go to paratalk.org. And you get to hear the behind the scenes before we go live on YouTube. And we talk a lot of smack, so you might want to check it out. Just go there and check it out. Right now, we are, once again, Kris, thank you once again for being on the show. You're more than welcome to stay on here as long as you want. And what is your .com real quick? Something about chunking something?
God,
My dog is choking. All one word.
mydogischoking.com. All right, we are officially in the after party. Woot, woot. And we got Walter, he came in. John Wayne, he's in here. I put in the chat the Zoom room and the password. Now, the password is very difficult. It is case sensitive. Make sure that you put them all in correctly, or you may not jump in.
Right.
Welcome to the after show, ladies and gentlemen. What do we want to talk about?
Good evening, all.
What's up, Mr. Walter? How you been?
Walter.
A little bit better, thank you. Great show, Sean. I've watched the last couple and been good shows.
Well, thank you, sir. I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, Shane's a bit of a handful, though, putting up with all of his stories.
Yeah.
And I love it, guys. Your SIV course, I watched all that, and really exhilarating. And listening to you guys, it's gone into your head, which is great. I can see the confidence build up, not only with you two, but also the other three that did it, Paramotor Crazy and Dave Wolf and Ripman, you know, and yeah, it's really thrown a good talking point of the shows, full stop. And Michael, Robert Michaels, he did it too. So it's been the talk for the last couple of months, which has been good to watch, even though I missed some of it while I was in hospital. Good to be back on this planet the way I was. A month ago, I was thinking I might not get to meet you guys, but might get to America yet, Shane.
Yeah, well, hurry up. Good Lord. Take that little contraption behind you and get an extra few liters of fuel, and let's go. Just head over to I don't know where which shorter, go east or west from Australia?
West, mate. West, straight to Los Angeles.
There you go. I'll meet you in Los Angeles.
Yep.
And then
I'll go and meet Robert first, and then we go from there. There's a lot of people down in that area. Anthony Paragringo and a few guys. Yeah, I'd like to meet everybody I'd get to meet on this show. A few new guys. Brian.
You got put in the hospital because you got beat up by a kangaroo because Linda sent them over to you, right? Or no, kangaroo. A koala. It was a koala.
I tried to get a koala for her and it clawed me to death.
Oh No, you're not.
Good
hearing
job,
it.
Linda. Good job, Linda. You're trying to kill Walter. Good job.
Actually, Linda, there was koalas. Koalas they saved at the fires here at Kangaroo Island, which is part of South Australia.
Oh,
And they got so many in that have recovered that they, don't know what to do with, and they got little baby ones and everything. And I thought maybe I could send you one.
and
But
yeah.
I'd have to send you a couple of eucalyptus trees as well.
Okay. All right.
Linda's like, I got eucalyptus lotion. Will that work?
I was like, oh my God. Look at.
Now, Walter, are you a pilot? Do you get to fly a lot?
I have done, not in the last few years. I've had a few issues with my health, and so it's restricted me a bit. But yeah, I'd love to pack it up in a container and come over there and fly around with you guys. But
In the United States, we don't have any rules really. Listen. If you can get it in the air, you're good.
I've flown many things, so yeah, I can get in the air. I'd be okay over there, I think.
Yeah.
With your rules, I mean, I got more license than you guys can even think about. But yeah, I've flown GA, I've flown ultralights, and then I built my own machine and flew that, and won some awards with it. So I'm pretty tickled about it. But yeah, a bit more airtime would be really nice at the moment. Looking at you guys.
How often do you get to go out and fly?
I used to do it like once, twice a month, but I haven't been for a few years now. But I've really been looking at the backpacks with my health now, whether I could foot launch or not. But trike-wise, not a problem.
Walter, with that accent, you come over to the United States and a paramotor pilot, you'd have women all day long. You wouldn't have time to fly.
Well, that would be a nice change too for a while, Johnny. I've forgotten what that was.
What you're saying is I need to work on an Australian accent.
Walter,
Yeah.
the only part
got-
that
I've got
Shane failed to
paramotor.
mention is the women wouldn't have any teeth.
Any teeth?
Kevin,
That might be better.
John Wayne, you know what I'm thinking.
Oh boy, I thought this was supposed to say G, but goes to PG and PPG all the time.
What are you talking about? I was talking about making more tender food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Tender food.
Sous vide cooking.
I want to come over there and show Shane how to cook.
Oh,
Yes, Walter, I've never cooked a koala, but you can show me.
no.
I was gonna cook a nice lasagna or something like that for you. Bit of wok style.
So when you cook a snake, Walter, what part do you eat? Do you just call it his knee, or does it snake have parts? How does that work?
I think you eat the whole lot of it. I don't know about the head. You'd have to ask the Aboriginals that they chuck everything on the charcoal, on the fire, you see, so they eat it.
Oh, Dave found our after show. He's over here commenting now about what did he run into.
Everyone's worried about the amount of things over here that kill you, but you guys have got more than we got.
I'll tell you what, I'll deal with the spiders and snakes instead of these little Antifa kids. Those guys are just unjustified. And can't reason with them.
Yeah, you
I'm
need,
having a good one there.
need to get the shotgun out and go do some shooting.
Yeah, they haven't issued
Sorry,
the back
sorry,
limits yet.
I'll say hunting.
I'm waiting for my license to come in the mail and then to issue the bag limit. So then I'll get to work.
I thought our after show was still supposed to be talking about paramotors.
Hey,
This
Walter,
is
do
the
you watch?
after show. We talk about everything that's funny.
Walter, do you watch the footy?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, and who's your team?
Port Adelaide, who's on top.
Ah, okay. All right. I'm a
Yeah, I was a
Collingwood
bit-
fan. I spent a lot of time down in Oz. I used to do a lot of work down in Melbourne.
Collingwood.
Yeah,
Collingwood.
yeah,
Oh my God, the wrong black and white.
yeah. And the wife is a Geelong fan, so we butt heads a bit during the year.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a good game.
Yeah.
The limelight this year, I suppose, has taken a bit away from it because, especially in Victoria and Melbourne, the COVID's so bad that they're not allowed to play any football down there. So it's played in Brisbane, South Australia, Western Australia, and Sydney rather than Melbourne. So they're really missing out.
That's why Port Adelaide is doing so well.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit worried because Port Adelaide came out before Christmas and said, we're going to win this year because Port Adelaide, it's like 150 years that they've been in the football, you see.
Oh.
And for the coach to come out and say, we're going to win, like this is before Christmas, it's like, that's a pretty big statement. And of course, we come out and we annihilated the team that we played and by a big margin. So we went straight to the top. And then the COVID come in and there was a bit of a break for 3 months or whatever, and they started playing again and Port's still on top. And yeah, so it's a great year for me in that respect. But I miss all my racing. I like motorsport as well. And a lot of that's only just restarted.
I didn't mean to derail the conversation on
No,
footy.
that's all right.
So yeah.
Oh
All
no,
right.
we're all over the place. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Melbourne and that, and Melbourne and South Australia, we're borders, you know, and it's like a real a rivalry, especially in the football, motorsport. We used to have Formula One here in Adelaide, and Melbourne took it from us. And last night on the news, they said that we might be taking the Formula One back off of Melbourne after 25 years.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a win for South Australia if we could get it back.
After 25 years, you're like, yeah, we finally did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had it back in the early 80s, 84, 5, I think, with the likes of Ayrton Senna and all the greats. And the last year it was here, we had over 250,000 people at the track. And they probably Melbourne, who's got 6.5 million people compared to 1.5 million people, the most they've ever had is about 140,000. So,
Walter, I told you I'm in Melbourne, Florida, right?
Yeah, I know that.
It was named after Australia. True story.
Wow.
There a Crown
Has anybody else
Casino
here
there?
in this group
There,
been
there
to
is
Australia?
something. There is something good about Australia. What was that, Brian?
I was asking anybody else here in the group, has anybody else been to Australia? I mean, I've always wanted to go there. It's at the top of my list.
I
I
know
want to go. I want to go.
Matt
One of these days I will.
Yeah, Matt Minyard's been
I
here
used to
with
go there
mate.
occasionally.
Matt Minyard was here. I didn't realise it was him. I saw some bloke landing in Sydney with his mate, powered parachutes in a suitcase, and they had 2 Parajets, I think it was, and they had 2 Parajet fuel tanks brand new here waiting for them. And they were going to go north towards Queensland, the warmer part of the country, but it was all storms and everything up north. So they turned back and went south towards Melbourne. And he did a lot of flying, and he actually got attacked by one of our, I don't think it was an eagle, I think it was a hawk. And yeah, it was quite good footage, and it was his first encounter with an Australian bird. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that in Australia they just call them pterodactyls.
Yeah.
Well, this one here actually was Kevin, because I think it was the week before he already had word of it, that there was a hawk in the area that did take out a parachute. It actually ripped it with its claws. He didn't crash, but yeah, it put a nasty hole in the
Wow.
guy's paraglider.
So has anybody ever had geese come up and fly right beside you?
Now,
But I want to do that.
I've had eagles, like our wedge-tail eagle. One day, myself and a mate were flying together, and he was like to the left of me, and I said, "Hey, Gaz, you've got an eagle." He goes, "Where?" I said, "At your 1 o'clock high." And he sort of flew towards him. We're going towards him, and he flew towards us, flew near my mate, and then sort of shot towards me and did a U-bolt, did a U-turn, and he sort of flew with us a little while, and he thought, "Hey, you guys are just too slow," and then just sailed away from us in front. Like, yeah, we were just too slow for him. They're great things. Had a scare one day. I don't know if your eagles will do it. Say if they're up at 3,000 feet and they want to get to the ground, they'll use one another, lock in feet, lock in their claws, and they do like a spiral. And apparently they can drop twice the speed as they can on their own. And we had two mates in planes up, and they were flying a bit of formation, and all of a sudden these two eagles locked horns, and I just looked up and I thought these two planes got locked together and it was them coming down. It was these two eagles, and that was the first time I ever seen it. Yeah, and they do that to get to the ground, to get their prey quicker. Amazing birds. They're big birds. They can stand like 3-4 feet high.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, guys, I hate to cut out and go early, but I got to take care of a bunch of stuff around here, so I got to get running.
All right, Kevin.
No worries, Kevin.
You guys have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Fly safe, brother.
Bye.
So, Brian, I can't believe you're not going. We're not going to be able to meet up to the Ohio fly-in. Man, I carry a Milwaukee drill in my camper.
Yeah,
I can take that screw out for you.
I think it's the number 2 Phillips, man. You just got to cut a little 1/2-inch slit. I got a picture of the X-ray. That's all you should need.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I drink a couple beers, I'll be fine. You on the other
Shane's good
hand.
at carving a bit of meat.
What's that?
I said Shane's good at carving a little hole, a little bit of meat.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I was looking forward to coming up there and meeting y'all for sure, big time. But since I got to pass a COVID test, less than a week after that fly in, I figure I better skip out.
What about the 28th in North Carolina?
That's definitely a possibility.
I'm looking to go to that one too. I was gonna go to the Kansas one, but man, it's a long drive. That's 20 hours for me, and I don't know. My wife is having surgery the same day that it starts, and I would rather be here than I would 20 hours away. And I think I'm just gonna
North Carolina gonna be.
Vail, North Carolina.
I know Vail, Colorado.
Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick.
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I just realised who you were. I mean, not today, but the last show. Hey, Vail. And
I like how you say it. I like how you
Oh no.
Hey, Bo, I really felt your pain, sir. Being in a few accidents that I've had and being, you know, laid up, I really felt your pain on the ground, man. I don't know how you clipped that bale. You must have just touched the. It almost looked like a bit of a flat hanging out of that bale, and I reckon your foot just got caught in that. And yeah, the way you landed with your ankle and that, man, I really felt your pain. And good to see you coming out of it quite well and with a smile on your face. Because
I appreciate that, Walker. That's mighty nice
well,
of
I
you.
think, you know, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes.
That's
And
right.
you damn well learnt a lot out of that. I'm sure of that. And yeah.
Yeah, the worst part is being stuck on the ground, you know, pain wise, you know, shock kicked in, it took care of the
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
And, you know, they gave me good medicine for the pain when I was at home. And so all in all, it's just, I was stuck in bed for longer than I wanted to be. And I just miss being up in the air. But
Yes,
yeah,
I know what it's like to be stuck in that situation where you're in a hopeless environment where you can't do nothing, and probably you know yourself you made the mistake, and that's the probably a little bit embarrassing, but I think you took it very well considering the cameras and everything that went on around you. Yeah, good on you, mate. You done well through it.
well, I appreciate it. I hope I never have to do it again.
No, that's right. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully you learned from it.
If you do it again,
And,
you want to make sure your audio works a lot better.
Yeah, man, that sucks. I got the really expensive, you know, $1,300 helmet, and now I got, you know, the audio that didn't work. So that kind of sucked.
You know the thing, Brian, you said about it. If you look at something, you're gonna go to it. So that's really why you've got to look ahead at where you're going. I've done it myself with a lot of different scenarios. You look at that and go, don't want to get near that. And later on, it might be with an RC or something, and I've gone ahead and hit it, where it's played in your mind since you got there that day. And later on in the day, you end up hitting that pole or whatever. And it's really, really upsetting, because in your subconscious, you knew about it. And your mind plays funny things when the adrenaline's pumping.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, Brian. I'm actually texting to Brian and talking to a Brian. That's really confusing. Anyways, holy crap! Now I'm all confused where Zoom is and everything else. Jesus, it's the fly-in that I'm talking about is Rebel Field. I actually sent you an invite today. It's Rebel Field, Vail, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's September 28th to October 4th.
Gotcha. That's actually probably a pretty good time frame for me, man. I got a buddy, my wingman is in North Carolina as well. I'll have to look, see how far he is from there, and shout at him too. But yeah, man, I definitely.
244 people have responded, and it looks like, let me see how many people actually said they're going now. Hold on.
Now, do you know if there's going to be camping there, like primitive camping?
There's no power. There is water.
Gotcha. Okay.
And by water, I believe there's a water hose that you go and fill up, and then utilize your water accordingly. Let me double check here on info. Discussion. Let's see. Yeah, and let's see here. It says why is this doing this? Okay. Oh boy, this computer. Let's see. Camping will be still available to fly in safe. Let's see the countdown. Let's see.
Wow, that's real close to my house.
What, Vail?
Are you in
Yeah,
Carolina, John?
I own a house just a little ways out of Morganton.
Gotcha.
They're saying that they actually have a porta potty company, a porta john company that will come out and suck everyone's camper out for 20. Easy, calm down. Their black tank
Okay.
for $20.
That's a good deal.
There are outdoor showers.
That's a crappy deal, man.
Yeah, that job does suck.
Should we go on?
Since everybody's laughing, let's go ahead and kill the live stream. And we appreciate everybody on the live stream that's listening on this. If you're still here, give us a thumbs up. We really need it because we're all punch drunk. Y'all have a great evening. And once again, thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
Sean, did you say if you're still here? Still here?
In the chat.
We got 5 thumbs up. We got more people hosting the show.
We have 7 people in here. There better be at least 7 thumbs up. Come on, guys, help me out a little
Thumbs
bit.
up. If I could do it on more than one device, I would, but they're all on the same YouTube account, so it doesn't work that way.
Arg. All right, y'all have a great day. Thank you very much, all out there. We'll catch you next week.
All right. So right now it says there's 71 people.